Hey everyone, this is Jonny Davenport with On One Software. And today I'm going to be showing you how to create a very shallow depth of field cross-processed film looks using our Perfect Photo Suite and Perfect Effects. Having said that though, the image that I'm going to be showing today was shot about 10 years ago with a digital SLR. And I recently came across it as I was going through a bunch of my images. And this is Grace Cathedral on top of Nob Hill in San Francisco. This was where my sister got married about 10 years ago, and recently came across this image, and I just love the architecture here and the glow and the feel of the building. And one thing I thought was maybe I can go into Perfect Effects though and sort of execute that vision that I have for this particular image, trying to recreate some of those classic cross-processed looks and also create a very shallow depth of field using the new lens blur in Perfect Effects. So let's show you how we do that. So here I am in the Browse module, and what I can do is I can either click up in the menu bar to go into Perfect Effects, or I can right-click or control-click on the image and go directly into one of the modules as well. So that's my preferred method. I'll just right-click, go Edit in Perfect Effects. And here I have the option to edit a copy or edit the original. My preferred workflow is to always edit a copy. That way I'm non-destructively editing my image. And here I've got my color space set to Adobe 98, 16-bit, 300 DPI. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And we're going to open up this image into Perfect Effects. So here we are in Effects. And next we're going to go over to the Filter Options pane. This is found directly under the filter stack. And so we have our categories of filters down the left-hand side, but all these filters in the categories are based on the filters under the Filter Options pane. So here I can just go directly into the filter that I want to add. And we're going to start with Lens Blur. We took our focal point technology from Suite 7 and rolled it directly into Perfect Effects. Now it's even easier to use, to add your blur, to add your effects, all in one spot. So here let's start with Lens Blur. And that's going to add the reflected gradient bug. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to rotate this around. And what I'm going to do is really just draw your attention into the center of the church here. So I'm going to grab the sides here. And you'll see as we bring this in, position this right over the center of the building here. And I can adjust by just clicking and rotating just like that. Bring this in a little more. And these dotted lines control feather. So I'm going to bring these lines in right about to here. You'll see now how we've created a nice depth of field. And this is kind of a tilt shift look. You know, those really expensive $2,000 plus tilt shift lenses I can easily achieve using the lens blur in Perfect Effects. So here I want your attention to go straight into that center of the church there and blur out the sides of it. If you were doing a portrait, for example, maybe you want to use the radial. So here I can change that so you can see. So we've got some different options. So this works great for a portrait. Position this over the face. You can soften up the background. For this building here though, let's go back to the reflected gradient. There we go. Also, you'll notice that this runs right through the center of the image. So maybe I want the foreground blurred as well, and maybe the sky up here too. So what I can do is grab my masking brush here, and let's just pump up the size a little. And I want to be in Paint In. So I tap the X key. That toggles me between Paint In and Paint Out. And now I can paint blur down into this area here, into the foreground, right about there, so I can keep that consistent. And then I'll also come up to the sky area up here and paint some blur into this area up in the sky. What will happen is as I add some of the other effects, you can sometimes notice noise in the sky when some of these effects get added. So that's why I'm painting blur back into that area up there. And I noticed the tip of the building here got a little blur, so I'll tap the X key to paint that out. And if I use the perfect brush option up here, I don't have to be as precise in my painting in or painting out. So there, I'll just remove that right from that area right up top there. And if I wanted this right here, just click and we can just paint right up along that. Bring that back into a bit of focus. If I wanted this area blurry here too, I can paint blur into this area as well. And let's just soften that up just like that. Looks pretty good to me. So now what I'll do is I'll click the plus button over in the filter stack to add a new empty layer. So here what I'll do is I'll come back down to filter options, and now I'm going to add a cross-processed look. So here I'll grab that cross-process, and you see what a difference it is from, let's go to that original. There's that original, and you see how we're getting more saturated, more contrasty colors. So back in the day, you used to run your C41, which was print film, or your slide film, E6 film, through the opposite chemistry, and you'd get sort of these wacky shifted colors. I'm a huge fan of that look. It's what I grew up on. Here you see how easy it is to apply that stylized look. So here I'm going to come down after choosing the cross-process filter under filter options. I'm going to grab this green strong. And then I'm going to adjust the saturation of it so I've got full control over this as well too. Give it a little more pop here. Look at that. I just absolutely love that look there. That's my style. And again, you know, the goal with Perfect Effects and our whole suite is to get you to start using the software and come up with your own styles and your own looks. But you see how easy it is here to create a very shallow depth of field cross-processed look. So I like that. Maybe pump the brightness up just a bit. And then I'm going to click the plus button. We're going to add another effect here. And I'm going to come back to the filter options pane, and I'm going to come down and I'm going to add a vintage look on top of that cross-processed look. And I can come back down here and change. Let's see what the cool does here. So I like that cool look. Let's push up the saturation just a bit. You can see how we're just really getting these intense looking colors. And it's turning sort of a purpley blue down here along the bottom. But you see how just from that to that, we're creating a whole new look and feel to this image. So I really like that. I'm going to add one more effect here, and I'm going to click the plus button to add that. And for me, this cross-processed film look isn't complete without a film border. So I'm going to click on the filter here. We'll go into borders. And that's going to load my borders here. And if I click on the category, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the film category here. And under the border category, I'm going to choose the medium format thin right there. That's my signature look. Just absolutely love that. If I scroll down a bit here too, what I can do is control the thickness of that border. So I want it just a little more thin, very subtle black edge around the image, just like that. You see how easy it is to create these very stylized looks. Let's show you that before. There's the original image, digital SLR file from 10 years ago, and here's that very shallow depth of field, cross-processed film look in no time. And what's cool is that now I've taken the time to create this effect. What I can do, get in the habit of doing this, is save this as a preset. So now come up to the preset menu, say Save Preset, and I've got some different looks here. I've got this film looks category, light leaks, some different categories that I've created, my Jonny style presets. I'm going to save it into the film looks category, and let's just call it miniature. I can spell here. And I'll put my name on it. And we'll just say cross-processed film tilt shift look. Click create. And now when I go into my presets category, under my film looks category, if I scroll down here, there's that preset. So now I can apply that stylized look in no time to my images in a snap. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Perfect Inspiration. Hope you found it inspiring for you to go out, shoot your own photos, and apply some of these stylized looks to your images and take your images to the next level. Be sure to download the miniature preset that we've also included in this episode of Perfect Inspiration. See you next time.